Thank you, Atlam, for confirming there. Music's a little strong, you say? Hold on. Testing, testing. Can you hear me all right? How are you doing today? Not getting anything on the Steam feed. There we go, finally started. Music and mic are good, fantastic. Hello, Atlam, hello, Lelandra, and hello, DM Crusader. How are you doing today? Welcome to the stream. Now that we've got confirmation y'all can hear me, making a quick adjustment here. So how's everyone's weekend so far? Fill me in while I switch us to another scene. And we get into our itinerary for the day. Is my mic coming through pretty clean? You're not hearing a 3D printer in the background by chance? Hey, Inani. Working on your prison map today? Nice, DM Crusader. Very cool. I hope you get it done in time. All right. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, the noise cancellation's dope. Hey, HMO1, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Okay, so really quickly, today's itinerary for the stream is as follows. Our news segment, I've been given permission to showcase a feature that they're working on for Fun with Objects that our lead dev, Carl, or Aranis, as you may know him as his username in our various platforms, including our Discord, shared recently in our kind of dev back channel communications. I asked him if we could share it. He said yes. So I'm going to show that here in a little bit. Immediately after that, we have the damn user segment with a very special interview. Bokimon, or Magdalena from our art team, is going to join us for an interview for about an hour and a half. So if you have any questions, you'd like to learn more, about her role on the team, the kind of things she's done in the past, maybe the kind of tools she uses or schooling or experience she got to lead up to this point, anything like that, feel free to dive in and ask questions. Please preface your question with the word question. That way our mods can tag it and put it in a list that will be addressed in the order they were received, okay? So if you have any questions, start asking them all on any platform while you're watching, and our mods will collect them and start putting them together. Just a quick reminder, we are live on 5 different platforms. That's Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Steam simultaneously. So we're monitoring all those chat feeds the best we can. If you do have questions, just let us know, okay? A bee has arrived. Oh. Gotcha. Okay. So that's immediately after that interview. Sorry, itinerary. Let's get back to that. Got a little sidetracked. We will have the question segment that's individual from asking questions to our interview guests. That will be more of a support segment. So if you have any, questions regarding your map making, exports, upcoming features, you need general support and guidance, that's when you would save your questions for that segment, which will be roughly, I'd say, about an hour and a half from now. So write them down and, save them for that time. Afterwards, if we have time, our 2 following segments will be the workshop segment, which we will showcase some maps. And then immediately after that will be our feature segment where we will discuss and highlight the custom object brush. Okay. Oof, that was a mouthful. Sorry about that, everyone. Going to load up this teaser. Okay, it is ready to roll. So let's just switch over to the new segment. My apologies. Oh, uh-oh. Did not mean to show our guest. I'll hide her one moment. That was not an intentional there. I had it hidden, I thought. Anyway, no worries. So, really quickly, let me showcase a couple new features. Yeah, man, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing, actually. I mean, there's a print going on right now. I'm pretty much out of any bamboo-related filament I have. Though I do have like alternative older filaments that I've been going through, seeing what's good and what isn't, because it's been sitting around for years. Some of it was like really brittle and falling apart and just really old, or only like a couple feet left. So I'd like cut it down to shorter lengths for my 3D pen, and then other things I didn't know what to do with because they were so brittle. I was going to see if I could rejuvenate them somehow by storing them like in a drying bin, or I don't know. But I'm printing a shower caddy because the missus found some on the app and wants them. Okay, so let's this feature that you can see here, as many of you know, a lot of different assets have multiple variations of them or the ability to change colors on them. This kind of blends kind of a little bit of both features into one. As you notice, when they click on this object, a new panel opens on the side. So you can essentially pick the color at will instead of waiting for a variant to swap to the color you want. This is going to be rather expansive. HMO1, you wish you had both the patience and skill with DA to build a whole city. You know, I will say one big thing with big whole cities too is it's very like PC dependent. So you want to make sure you have like a top-notch PC if you try to address building a large-scale city. That said, though, it is very possible to build towns, villages on a smaller scale with most average PCs, and then you can get into like cities and like even huge cityscapes, you know, or larger with Dungeon Alchemist. There are some clever ways to make large cities without really taxing your computer. By using objects from the workshop that are like prefabricated houses that are like a solid house. You just place it down and you only build the ones that you want your players to enter with the room tool. So it kind of makes it less taxing on your computer as a whole. That said, moving on, this feature here is going to be embedded in pretty much any object that would have a variant, or I believe a color swapping feature. So you can swap between it by clicking on the color tab or just pressing tab, or going through the, so any of the existing methods in the UI will be there, i.e. tab shifting through variants, but then you have this new physical extended menu. Here's another example of just like a table or tables with variants. Many of you know tables, when you place them, it places a different one every time, or you can press tab to shift between them and choose which one you want to place. This will give you the visualization of all those, so you can click the one you want specifically. Yes, exactly. Instead of having to place all the variants one by one, you get a visual aid to them, which is very nice. Okay, so any questions about this feature? I can't speak a whole lot to it because I've really just seen as much as you, and I've asked a little bit about it, but consider these like a drop-down menu with all the variant options available for those objects. I do think it's a nice quality of life improvement for sure. Okay, so I just want to say we are going to invite our guest on. I'm going to close this really quick. Forgot to. It's a map I want to highlight later. So we're going to bring our guest, who is a part of our art team. You may know her as Bokimon on our Discord or various social platforms. Her first name is Magdalena. I've had her as a guest on the stream, I believe, once or twice before. I know at least once. I can't remember if it was twice. But I've had the pleasure of hanging out, with her in the background, chatting, various aspects of DA and seeing the art she shared on our team. But there's a pretty good chance that assets that you've used in Dungeon Alchemist were created by her. She's also working on some new things. Some things that'll be most likely in Fun with Objects 2 have been made, as well as some upcoming things that I don't know if we can talk about, but let's wait until we get her on. So without further ado, hold on one second here. I'm going to switch our little tile over and bring our guest on. No one drinks like Gaston. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Okay, so Magdalena, I see you on the feed. Let's do a quick test to make sure I can hear you.
Hello, hello. Test, test.
Hold on, let me mute the music so there's not both, and then I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Quick test.
All right. Hello, hello.
Little quiet. 1 second. Is your mic near your face or?
Yeah, it's right here.
Gotcha.
So should it be fine?
Let me turn you up just a little bit more and just make sure there's nothing else I can. Oh, that'll make it a bit better. Cool.
All right.
Okay. So you should be able to see her. You should be able to hear her. Let me get confirmation from the chat. Just
That's
a little
all right.
louder. Is it good, everyone? Fantastic. I just want to make sure you can hear her clearly. Go ahead and say testing 1, 2, 3 for us.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I'm getting feedback that they are, in fact, hearing you and seeing you very well. And we are getting thumbs up from multiple chat feeds. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for confirming. Very much appreciate you. And for your patience and, helping us confirm this while we get it all lined up. Because these little stream collaboration things tend to run in shenanigans at this point. So I'm just glad it's working. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Magdalena, I'm so happy to have you on. Very quickly, I hope you're not nervous for all the onslaught of questions you're going to get. We're going to definitely put you in the hot seat here and ask you all the difficult questions. No, I'm just kidding. So for about the next hour and a half, if you have any questions for Magdalena, please let us know in chat. Preface your question with the word question. Our mods will be compiling a list, which they sent to me, and I will be reading those questions, but I'm going to get the ball rolling, okay? Sorry, excuse me. So let me get some water here. I got a
That's a good idea.
Little tickle in the back there, and I didn't want to cough. Okay. So, Magdalena, I may have asked you this in the past, but I'll ask, for those who weren't here in past interviews, how long have you been making digital art?
Digital art, you mean 3D or just digital art in general?
Digital art in general.
Probably 15 years then. Because I started out doing graphic design when I was in high school, and then I switched over to games when I started to study.
So it was when you were in school, I imagine, you decided to go the other direction? Was that in high school or college or?
Yeah, it was college when I started doing games.
Fantastic, fantastic. And so you said about 15 years as in total in graphic or like digital arts.
Yeah.
Before that, were you interested in any like other arts, like drawing or sculpting or
Yeah, I did a
painting or
bit of drawing and painting, like as a teenager, but not too much.
Gotcha. So would you say it was digital art as a whole that really brought you into art?
Yeah, I think so. I like the technical aspect of it, like mixing art and not programming per se, but like
Cool, cool.
more.
Um, so how long have you been doing like 3D and game art then?
Um, I think I started in 2021. So
2021. Nice.
yeah,
So little, maybe about 5 years now, or a little over 5 years.
yeah. Or that's when I finished my studies. So I've been doing it a
Gotcha.
bit longer, but yeah.
Cool, cool. That's very cool. I know that like digital art spans like a lot of different mediums and things. And I'm a little bit ignorant to it all. Because I know how to use a couple of tools, very limited capacity. So I'm just curious, like what would be the scope of work that you do on like an average day, and what kind of tools do you use?
I use a lot of different tools. Actually, it really depends. Like for modeling, obviously Blender. Then I use ZBrush for sculpting, Substance Designer, Substance Painter. Uh, what else do I use? There's a bunch of things like Procreate or Photoshop for painting. Like there's a bunch of different stuff, whatever I need.
Fantastic. Um, do you use Procreate on like a tablet or on a Mac or
Yes, on an iPad. Yeah.
on an iPad? Mrs. Mac really loves Procreate as well, so she's a fan of that.
Yeah, it's great. Good
Um,
stuff.
she's been using a new tool lately, though, on Windows called Clip Paint Studio. Well, new for her because she got a tablet there that she's been using. So, man, that stuff is like all above me because I can only draw stick figures. When I get down on the tablet, it doesn't matter. It's always going to come out as a stick figure. So I basically just don't want to waste anyone's time drawing. Um,
Oh, it's all
one time
practice.
in my D&D game, they were like, hey, can you draw what you want us to do as the plan? I was like, DM, do I really have to do this? And they're like, yes. I'm like, oh goodness, no, I don't want to do this. Anyway, back to the interview. So you've been doing art obviously a long time. Um, you've been on the team longer than me. I'm assuming pushing 5-6 years now.
No, not that long. I've been here 3.5 years.
Oh, really? I thought you
It's not
joined
that long.
before me.
No, I don't think so.
Huh, maybe I misunderstood that. No worries, no worries. And in your time with the team, you've developed quite a few, or I mean, created quite a few different assets.
Yes.
Is there any assets in particular that are like your favorite?
Of the past ones, it's hard to pick. I often forget which assets I even made. Like Eliza is obviously up there.
Oh,
She's quite
Eliza.
popular.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the cursed one.
Exactly. I also like anything that's with animals is very nice. Like I made these animal figurines, like just heads of animals in different
Oh, the different like
materials.
the busts.
Yes, exactly. Like those are super fun.
Those are really great, actually. I made a totem pole out of those by stacking them kind of on top of each other, so they look
Oh,
like
that's
a
nice.
wood carved totem. Um, anyway, pretty cool. I really enjoy those assets. While we're on the discussion of that, would you mind if I showed them one of the assets that you shared with me for
Yeah,
today's
sure, go
stream?
ahead.
Is there one in particular you'd want me to share?
Maybe you start with the goddess statue.
You
God
got
and
it.
Goddess statue.
Stand by. We need to rotate the scene because this one does not support video. Oh, I think your camera was shut off here. There we go. Hey, so here we have a clip of a modular statue. I'll let you explain it actually if you'd like.
Sure. Like it's just basically a statue with different attachments, so you can choose if you want to change the head or the arms or the armor and whatnot. Yeah, that's
So
basically it.
a very modular statue set with a lot of different heads, faces, poses, props that you can cycle through.
Yeah,
Essentially, instead of having waiting on us to develop individual statues, you get a ton all at once this way. Modular
exactly.
is the name of the game in Fun with Objects 2, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also noticing those lovely scored breads down there. Goodness, are those
Yeah,
new ones? Because
exactly. I snuck in a few smaller assets as well because they don't get talked about very much, but I still think they're nice. So
very cool. And what is that, rhubarb?
yeah, that's rhubarb.
Oh my goodness. Look at all that. Would this have the same variant feature? Interesting. I don't know if it will in the object menu. I would hope so. That's a good question. Do you know offhand? You know the
I
teaser I showed in the news segment of the little extended panel?
Yeah, I don't know if this one is going to be the same because it's not a variant per se. It has a lot of different elements that work together. So I'm not sure how that would show up in the new panel.
I
So
do
I
know
don't know.
that another object similar to this, not to cut you off, but the shields with the heraldry. I know Wim was
Exactly.
working that out to have an extended view panel in just below in the UI, right? So it's easier to
Yeah.
pick which ones. So it's very possible this might get a similar one because there's so many options. It's
Yeah.
hard to say though.
I hope so. I hope it's going to work out, but I can't say if that's exactly how it's going to work yet. Like we're too early in the
Speculation
development
at
for this.
best.
Yeah.
We're pre-alpha with the current build, so I would say definitely anything you see here could potentially change, or maybe
Yeah,
not even
absolutely.
make it into Fun with Objects 1. Really quickly, I want to interject in chat. Liz Valentine, just so you know, anybody right now in the current live build can make changes to their candles and light sources. You can adjust the color of both the candle wax and the flame and the light, like the brightness and all sorts of stuff. So any light source, for the most part, you can do that. Just letting you know if you wanted to make your candles fun like that, which I actually love that mix there with the blue flame and the black candle. Good choice there. Looks good.
Thanks.
What's your favorite? I noticed there's a lot of different choices here. What is your favorite head on the goddess statue?
On this one,
Mm-hmm.
hard to pick. I like the Cthulhu one,
Oh, the
especially
Cthulhu ones.
in combination with the beer mug. So that's a good one.
I really like the cat one.
Yeah, that one's also great.
Did y'all notice there's a cat one?
There's a cat and a what's it called? Not a coyote, a jackal.
Anubis.
Also. Yeah, exactly.
It is Anubis. Oh, there's a Hendrick. I saw it. And then a stag. All sorts of stuff. Very cool. Very excited. Oh, well, welcome to the community, Liz. If you do have any questions, like support-related inquiries or need guidance, feel free to ask in chat. Our mods and viewers will answer for you during this segment. And then immediately following this segment, I'll do live Q&A and support and can walk you through all sorts of things if you have any questions or need any need any of your inquiries addressed. One thing I'd like to point out in this video that's kind of sneaks is you can see the object rotation UI on this statue. So I know a lot of y'all are really excited for object rotation, which is very, very soon. It's on its way in the next update. And honestly, there's been some crazy developments in the background related to objects and what they can do. But this is one of the best ones that I know everyone's been waiting for, being able to rotate objects on any axis. We've been sharing bits and pieces of that in our Discord or social media over the last few months. But really quickly, while we're here, you can just see, let me highlight the mouse. You could see right here and right here, these new UI elements that will allow you to rotate objects on any axis. Okay. So moving on from these statues, we got quite a few questions from the community now that have come in. Let's start with a Discord question, okay? If you're up for that. This one's from Low Key. I absolutely love the assets created by the talented artists at DA, even though I don't know exactly which assets you worked on. Thank you for all the amazing work you contributed. Not so much a question, but just some love. Oh,
that's very nice.
Yes, it is. Let's move on to a question on Twitch from Liz Valentine. I ran into not being able to find an asset. Is there going to be more Flora assets at some point?
Yes, absolutely. I'm also working on Flora assets. So I made like a bunch of different things. There's roses. That's something we didn't have.
Aren't those going to be in Fun with Objects too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they should be in Fun with Objects too. Like the rhubarb, there's some more decaying flowers as well. I don't know. I've also been working on
a
tree.
You've been working on a what?
I've been working on a tree as well.
What kind of tree?
The willow tree.
Let me grab that. I think you shared that one with me.
Yes, I did.
Really quickly, they were looking for bramble. I do know we have vines and a few other things. You may want to check the workshop to see if there's any bramble. If you click the Steam Workshop tab in the top menu and then click Browse Assets, then you can search there. Be wary, though. The asset's kind of like a monkey's paw because many assets are uploaded without concern for their size or quality because they were just found online and shared. Others, though, a lot of care and love were put into them before they were shared, so they're optimal in size and quality. So downloading every asset under the sun, just be very careful when you download them. Look at the size and whatnot and what they can do, because the more you have installed, those preload when Dungeon Alchemist loads, and they preload before any map. So the more you have, the slower Dungeon Alchemist inevitably runs. So while it's a great resource, just remember to, only sub to, a few dozen at a time and then unsub from them when you don't need them from a project. If you ever open up a map that needs them later or a map from the workshop that does have them, it'll prompt you automatically to download them. So no worries. Okay, let me press play on this. I don't think there's much to this other than the sway of the willow tree. But, you can change the colors. Wow.
Yes.
I did not notice that. There are some variants. So one's it's wilted, and one's like a winter?
Well, it's the different seasons. So there's one that's for autumn and one for winter, and we're going to have a spring one too.
Fantastic.
And I hope we're going to do that for the other trees as well.
And I guess you could always just do winter by flipping the winter switch in the terrain tab.
I don't know if that's going to affect the trees yet. I hope so, but that's not going to be in Fun with Objects too, I think. That's probably for later.
Oh, the winter tab has been around since forever.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I don't think it's going to affect the trees. I don't think those two are linked necessarily.
Oh, if you flip on snow, it affects every object on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean.
There is only a handful it does not, like ice flows and snowmen and a few things like that. They're very rare.
Yeah.
Yep. I accidentally changed the scene to a non-video one. Let me flip it back so you all can see. Sorry about that, everyone. I had that pulled up, and I was just telling you how awesome it was. It was like describing a tornado to someone. It was really big and loud, spun around. There was lots of a mess. Anyway. So you have like a, full bloom, and then you have a fall, and then dead or or at least at end of fall going into winter. And then of course, if you flip on the winterizing switch in the terrain tab on the left menu, it'll turn snow on top of everything. I think what Magdalena might have been referring to is the decal tool, which will definitely not be making it in this update, sadly, in Fun with Objects 2. I was given confirmation of this just like this last week, and I've been letting everyone know on the streams because a lot of people are excited for that. A little confused because we were showcasing that prior to Fun with Objects 1. Kind of went to the wayside, mainly because the person who was working on it left the team, and now we are kind of left with picking up the pieces and figuring it out from scratch. Carl is committed to making it work, but it will be addressed after Fun with Objects 2 launches in a post-update patch, probably a few months after the fact. That'll include a bunch of fixes and then a few quality of life improvements, similar to the fine print patch that we released a few months ago. Okay, so next question while the Willow is playing. This one's from Low Key. What are your favorite assets or objects that you've created that are currently available? Can you think of one in Dungeon Alchemist that's like your favorite that is currently available?
One. I also have to think what is currently available because I mix them up at this point sometimes. Hard to pick. I like the angel statue as well, like the one with the wings and the sword.
Gotcha. Like this one? Oops.
Wait, I have to see.
Come on, man. There's this one that's crying.
Yeah, that's the one.
There's also, I believe, this statue of like a lady in a pose. There's quite a few statues, actually. Sorry, I've got a few mixed in from the workshop as well.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I made a lot of the statues at this point, I think.
Is that like one of your? Do you prefer like a kind of like an object that is more of a like a scenic man-made piece, or do you prefer an organic?
Yeah, I like organic stuff, but I count this as organic as well in a way because I get to work in ZBrush and actually sculpt a person. So
fair enough. I mean, a good sculptor makes it look lifelike, so technically, here you are.
Yeah. It's good enough for me.
I mean, it does look like some of those really cool marble statues where you can see like the details. So you really recreated it really well. Fantastic.
Thanks.
So if you've used the statue, you've likely seen her work. You said you've worked on organic stuff as well. Is there any other plants or anything that you worked on in the past?
Plants, all of the crops, I think.
So like the farm stuff?
The pumpkin.
Oh, and all of these crops. Gotcha.
Yeah, those kind of things.
Leeks, carrots, pumpkins, beans.
Yeah, the beans. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff.
Question for you. Is there ever been a crop that you wish you could have added? Or
I would like to add wheat, but that one is a bit tricky to get right, I think.
That one's asked for a lot.
Yeah, I know.
That and corn. Corn is more of a US crop, I guess, but it's still like pretty popular. But what else
those kind of assets?
Go ahead.
Those kind of assets are a bit hard because people are gonna be like spraying them around quite a lot, so they have to be quite optimized.
Mm-hmm.
While still looking.
There's a couple on the workshop that are like wheat. I think there's one from ages ago that was not that great, and I think Sack made some that were all moderately well. They're pretty good. He likes to optimize his assets, make them really lightweight.
Yeah, that's important.
Did you make these grapes? Grapevines?
I did not make out of the grapevines. Yeah, I didn't make the grapes itself, but the vines I made. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Anani says they missed some mangroves as well. I agree. Some mangroves would be dope. We need some proper swamp support. Some tamarisks, some mangroves, some. You get it. You get it. Lots of
Yeah.
vines. I know we have like a brush that kind of paints some vines, but they only run in one direction, so it kind of breaks the immersion. Just be cool to have our own vines, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, you can make swamps, but it requires a little bit more hands-on care to do. Here, while we're talking about that, I've actually made a swamp, and published it in the past just to kind of prove it. Where is it? The Murky Mug. This is an older map. It's a legacy map, but it just shows it's. I think I made this on a stream one time in under 30 minutes because someone's like, "Is Dungeon Alchemist really quick? Can it make a swamp?" And I was like, "Let's find out." And I think I made it in like 15 minutes while they were like hanging out. So this was my
Nice.
attempt, at least. A lot of it,
Awesome.
is playing with lighting, setting it to like a green and setting it to night. Hey, Fox, welcome back. Anyway, moving on. Next question from Anani on Twitch. What are some of your biggest inspiration sources, and what do you do to counter artistic burnouts?
Inspiration source. It depends from object to object. Like usually it's mostly reality and whatever sketches Wim provides me with.
So does Wim usually provide you with the resources, the asset resources, or do you typically go find them yourself too?
It's mostly myself. Sometimes he has a sketch for me. Sometimes I ask for a sketch if it's something a little bit more complex. But yeah, it
love
really
Wim's
depends.
sketches.
Yeah, they're great.
Really highly detailed, pretty much exactly how he wants it. So, sorry, moving on from this. Let's see here. So what do you do to counter artistic burnout? Because I'm assuming a lot of your art at the moment is usually work-based.
Yes. I don't do art outside of work at the moment, I think. Or not really. I do other stuff. Yeah.
So do you do anything particularly to avoid burnout on a regular, or is that something that you have to deal with as an artist on the team?
Not particularly, not for work at least, but yeah, I'm not really doing art on the side. Because then I do think I would get artistic burnout. That would be too much.
I mean, it is possible to get it in a work setting as well. So I guess it applies across all spectrums there. But no worries if that's not something you deal with. I envy you because burnout is definitely something that a lot of people in the artistic community deal with. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry, what?
I got good work-life balance, I think. So
good. Yeah, no, I in the past when I used to stream as a hobby instead of just for work, and I was working full time as well, it definitely would get to me because it was like extra.
Yeah, okay.
But now that it's like that all that I do pretty much for work, it definitely isn't as easy to get burnt out. But I mean, I could see when we're in deadlines pushing towards like final build, there's a lot going on. It's easy to get like, overwhelmed or burn out, but no worries there. Low Key from Discord asks, what are your favorite assets or objects that you worked for, that you've created for the upcoming Fun with Objects Part 2? I guess we've shown a couple of them so far. Is there any more that we can show that you'd like to discuss?
Oh, there's the goddess statue as well. I think I sent you a video of.
Yeah, we did look at that one a little bit. We did look at the goddess statue already.
But it was that was the male statue.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a female one as well. I think. Otherwise, I don't know. I also made a pumpkin house at some point. I think that's Fun with Objects too, if I'm not mistaken.
And then some of these assets down here are yours as well, right?
Down where? Wait, the stream needs to catch up. Yeah.
Got Eliza. Did you do this bottled beholder?
Yeah. I did that one as well.
That one's one of my favorite assets. I like that. We need more bottled creatures, more bottled stuff, like a bottled brain and a bottled, fingers, and we got some bottled eyes and some teeth and stuff, but we need more. And we also need empty bottles. I'm gonna just throw that out there, like empty jars, because almost everything we have has a juice in it or something. There's no empty version. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. So like when you look at the variants of like all the potions, for instance, you can swap the color. There's like 4 different brown colors and a couple different yellows, but you can't make it empty.
I
So
had no idea.
or like no, there's like 3 or 4 greens. Oh goodness. Yeah, that is definitely something I would love to see, and I know a lot of people would love to see. Hoping to bring that
That's a
up
good
with
one.
Whim at a future point, but empty bottles, or at least empty versions of all the cups and bottles and potions we have, would be great.
It should be quite easy to do, actually. So definitely bring it up with Wim.
Let's most definitely. Ooh, I've got there's another statue here. I'd like to show the horse statue. Can we show that one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Look how regal. Are there variants to this, or similar to the god statue or the goddess statue?
Yes, there were different heads, I think, but just 3 different ones. This was the first statue I made for Fun with Objects, I think. And that's where we kind of got the idea to make it more modular. So we made 3 different heads, and then we moved on to the goddess statue, which has arms and head, and then the god statue also has different clothes.
I love the
So
patina on this one. Is there different
yeah.
variations of like, a bronze one or a copper one?
No, not for this one. Not for this
Gotcha,
one.
okay.
This one has just the patina.
Anani says, I agree, Mac. We need more transparency from the DA artists, at least in the glass department. That was good. That was really good. I like that one. That could make someone nervous. Is there scandal in the art department? Probably not. Probably not. They're all chill.
Well,
honestly, every time we have people from the art team, it's always a blast on the stream. It's always fun. Okay, so I see there's some images here. Oh, there's another statue, a modular statue clip. Can I share that one?
Yeah. I think that one was already shared. I just added it as well.
Gotcha. It's just a more closer up. Got it. I love that sword, though. That looks cool. I know we have that as like an object, don't we?
I think so. As I said, I don't always know if it's already in or if it's going to be in the next update, because there's a lot of assets.
It's true. You have a whole library of assets that you've made that are like just not even in DA yet. So that it makes it kind of a blurred line. It's hard to keep track of. Alrighty. So, quite a bit of new stuff on the horizon. Very excited about that. Moving on to our next question here. Oh goodness, my Discord froze. Okay, here we go. Random Ladybird on Twitch asks, what does the willow tree we saw earlier look like felled? I don't know if there's a felled version of it. Is there one?
There's not a felled version, though.
We really do need like a felled log for every tree. It would make them kind of cool, like as an option for it. Like we have like 2 or 3 logs and a couple of stumps.
Yeah. That's a good one, actually, yeah.
I think these things we tend to overlook until they get brought up on stream or whatever by the community because they were from much older updates. Let's see here. So I don't think we have any example or any way to explain it at the moment because it doesn't exist. Sorry about that. Next question from Loki on Discord. If I recall correctly, you've been creating the Pantheon of Gods and Goddesses statue. Which one was your I think we discussed at least the head among them, but what's your favorite overall build on them? Was there like a variation that you liked the most?
They were not really created as like a set or something, like it's just a different parts. So
what was your favorite combination of parts is what they're asking.
Yeah, as I said, the Cthulhu with the beer mug is definitely up there.
Would you consider any of them different pantheons at all, or are they mostly just kind of random?
I think they're mostly not like from a specific pantheon per se, just a few different things mixed in. Like you have the jackal and stuff, and the cat.
So a couple could lean into like Egyptian mythology, a couple could lean into like Norse mythology, a couple could lean into like various different things from the past, but also while having broad, strokes, so it's not necessarily any copyrighted material or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's important. And I can't make every pantheon from
Can't do
every
D&D
religion
or
ever.
Pathfinder, really, pantheons, unless we want to tread through all of that legality and look into it and research it and figure it out. It's just the whole thing. So probably better to just make our own, which is great. Okay. Anani on Twitch asks, what hobbies do you have? Are you a D&D player as well?
Yes, I play D&D once a week, I think. So yeah.
Do they use
D&D
Dungeon
and,
Alchemist maps in your campaign?
Sometimes, yeah. I gifted Dungeon Alchemist to my DM way back when, so sometimes he uses it.
Cool. And you say you guys play once a week?
Yeah.
What level are you?
Well, we just started a new campaign, so I'm now level 5.
Oh, cool. Did you start at level 1 with this new campaign, or did you start at level 5?
No. We started at level 5. We started a week ago, so it's very fresh.
Very fresh.
We played for 2-3 years, I think, one campaign.
Cool. So you just barely wrapped up that campaign, or was it like a few months ago?
Yeah, it was a few months ago. We took a bit of a break after that.
So your new campaign, what kind of character do you have?
I'm playing Ranger Beastmaster.
Ranger Beastmaster. So you're going to have a companion, right?
Yes.
What kind of pet do you have? Giant frog.
Giant
so
frog,
cool.
Yeah.
Can you ride around on the giant frog?
I think so. I'm playing a halfling, so that should be possible.
What size is the giant frog? Is it technically considered medium or large?
Yeah, I think it's technically medium. It's not actually, in my head it's giant, but it's
some of the naming conventions in D&D drive me crazy because there's like a huge giant crab. It's like, what? Which is it? Huge or giant? Come on, man.
Exactly.
They name it. It's like a naming convention more than a size sometimes. But anyway, that's really cool. Halfling. I also play a halfling as my character. I'm a halfling wizard. But
nice.
Rangers are pretty dope. They can hit really hard, and Beastmaster Rangers are really fun because the companion. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun together
Sure.
with your group and whatnot. And also just with your frog companion. That sounds like a blast. Okay, let's see here. Low-Key on Discord asks, are there any creatures, monsters, or mythological beings you'd love to sculpt for Dungeon Alchemist in the future? I'm hoping for a skeletal centaur or unicorn someday. It'd be perfect for a magical museum.
I mean, we have a unicorn statue already. I think that's already in the game, actually. Or is that also fun with objects too? Who knows?
It's there.
Okay.
There's also the unicorn bust and the unicorn figurine, which can be scaled up quite a bit if you disable. The bust has the different options, so you can change it to, a bunch of different textures. There's like a metal, couple metal options, a stone. I don't know why the black one is wood instead of like an onyx. Anyway, moving over here. Yeah, that's what I was expecting it to look more like. You have a bunch of different textures. Ooh, that crystal one. I never knew that was there. Or this would be great in a museum as a centerpiece, like put it on a pedestal or a plinth or something. Yeah, I was going to say, you're lucky you play once a week. We play once a month. It's hard enough to get our players together more than that. Next month is my birthday and my son's birthday, and we play on the same table. We asked the group, hey, would it be cool if we play an extra session in July? And everybody was like, I don't know. And then we got closer. We're like, please. They're like, yeah. And now we're still struggling to get the dates lined up. It's hard enough to get one. Oh my goodness. Love my group.
It's easy. We just play every Tuesday. And if enough people show up, we play. And if not, then we don't play.
Gotcha.
It's simple as that.
So because our entire group's remote, right? People all over the place. You know, if someone doesn't show up after a month, oh my gosh, without letting people know in advance, people would get upset.
I get that, yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. Moving on. Anani from Twitch asks, how did you get introduced to the team and how do you like working with the DA team? Hips record. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I actually worked together with Aiko during my internship at a company in Antwerp. And later on, after I quit my previous job, we like met again, and she said, "Oh, there's a open position for Dungeon Alchemist," and so that was a perfect timing. Oh, yeah, I like it very, very much. It's such a good team. I'm happy it's like a smaller team compared to a bigger company. It's nice to like know all of your colleagues.
Is your workflow pretty laid back? Do you enjoy, you said your work-life balance is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like what's your average work day like, and work week? I'm just curious, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very relaxed. Like, we can like, we are a bit flexible with our hours. So I just work 38 hours a week, and that's it. We don't really have overtime or something. We don't have super strict deadlines. We don't
I assume
have
you're
crunch time or
contracted
anything.
like me. So
Yeah.
like an independent contractor, essentially.
I don't know. I'm not a freelancer or anything. I'm with the
Gotcha.
company.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think my position, because I'm international, I have to be an independent contractor, so it's a little bit different. But that said,
yeah, probably.
That's really cool though. So you work, you said about 38 hours a week?
Yep.
Cool. Very cool. And your work week, I'm just curious, like how many assets do you make a week?
Oh, that depends. Like, I usually do a bit bigger assets. Like the statue takes a while. That's not going to be done in a week. Like, there's so many things that come into it. That's going to be weeks, probably.
Do you usually work on one asset at a time, or is there several you kind of cycle through?
But again, it depends. Like, sometimes if it's a simple asset, I just make it in a day and it's finished. And other times, if I need more input from Wim or something, I maybe work on something else for a while, or just to take a break if it's a longer project. Then I have like 2 or 3 things I'm working on.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Sorry to those questions. They're kind of all over the place, but I mean, in your past experience, I'm sure you've dealt with a little bit of both scenarios. Let's see here. Low Key on Discord asks, what are your favorite assets or objects that one of the other artists has created?
Ooh, there's a lot of assets. I really like the wooden machinery assets Kenny's made recently. Those are super cool.
Oh yeah, we've been sharing those a little bit on the stream and in Discord, hoping to share them more soon. But it's essentially just like a lot of like clockwork wooden cogs and machinery that like meshes together to allow you to make all sorts of like who's what's it and whatchamacallit machines and factory floors and artificer wonderlands. Essentially, you could probably do clockwork towers and all sorts of stuff with it too. It's really intricate and fun. Very excited for the community to get their hands on that, because isn't it very like a modular object in that it can link with other things through the modular object tool?
I think so. I don't know if it has like actual links to it or not, but
let me see if I can find some video of it really quickly, because I know I shared it recently, but I'm gonna have to go back through the streams really quickly. While I'm doing that, next question. The position of the horse in the statue is indicative of the hero's death. Will there be other horse poses? That's true. If it's like in an upward pose where it's like posed up and its front feet are up, that's like a victory pose, isn't it? They all have different meanings.
I think it's a myth. to be honest. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on
Ah,
this, but I think that's a myth.
huh. Interesting. You shall commit
Maybe I'm wrong though.
machine. So here's some of those clockwork machines she was talking about that kind of can link together. And there's 2 videos I can share. I've got them here and been approved to share these in the past, so we should be fine.
Make sure you can see them on stream because I. Oh yeah, okay.
There's
It's
just
fine.
probably a slight delay, though.
All right.
Oh man, that. Yep. Oh, okay. I thought I had 2 videos. Oh, I do. Here it is. This one is so goofy and like villainish. Like it reminds me of some kind of hoity-toity 1800s villain with the mustache that he can twirl, like a toon villain that would have this mechanical arm for capturing you and holding you up and dangling you over precariously over a vat of acid. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what it reminds me
Stop.
of, is something like that. It just looks fun. Anyway, these are going to be some upcoming assets in Fun with Objects, if I'm not mistaken, and these are being kind of designed, and the linkages and the animations and stuff. Kenny is working on this, and that's what you said you really enjoy, at least. For these will be
Absolutely.
really fun to play with for sure. Hey Morgana, welcome back. How are you doing? Okay, next question. Yeah. From Loki on Discord, do you have any favorite fantasy settings or worlds that inspire your work? Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Final Fantasy, Game of Thrones, anything like that?
Not particularly. I don't know. Like as I said, every asset has its own references, so it's not like I take it from like one franchise or something. I don't know.
So, okay, so often you'll usually just kind of, when you get assigned an asset, you'll just look wherever you can find inspiration for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever pulled stuff from like pop culture
I don't.
or
I'm trying to
movies
think. Oh yeah,
or
I did. When I made the tiger pelt, I remember looking at like Disney for how they draw expressions on big cats because I had some trouble getting the expression right. Stuff like that. But it's usually very specific things I'm looking for.
cool? Very cool. Um, man, I know that you're working on something we can't really talk about, and I know that some of the inspiration comes from a really cool old book and movie. At least
Yeah.
I brought it up in Discord, and Wim's like, "Oh yeah, it is from that," and I was like, "Oh, okay, good," because it needs more of that whimsical. Yeah. Anyway, love that movie, love
Yeah.
the book, very excited for it. Can't talk about it a lot, but I will say this: we can reveal at least this much. Our art team is already working on assets for an upcoming release that is beyond Fun with Objects. Because I believe a lot of the assets for Fun with Objects have already been locked in. Most of what's now left is quality of life and feature add-ons and like bug testing. So the art team is now working on future updates to get ahead of the game, which is great. I mean, if you haven't gotten the hint or seen it in the past from some of the teasers we've shared, in discussions in the past with Wim and things like that, it looks like our update after this will likely be high seas. So if all goes well, our next major update will include some kind of water-based
Well, I think
shenanigans.
the next big one is it high seas?
So to be Fun
I'm
with
not sure.
Objects, and I believe High Seas is hopefully slated before end of 2027. And that's our
Yeah,
next
we made
major one.
a roadmap recently, I think.
Yeah, the roadmap has all that stuff on it, so it's public info. But there should be a minor patch in between this and that, which is the like quality of life improvements and the decal tool, most likely, as long as they can get that working. So I
Yeah,
don't think
I hope
there's a
so.
major patch beyond that. Here, let me pull up the roadmap. I've got it sitting here. Stand by. Acquiring roadmap. Where did I leave it? Oh, here it is. This is the one. There was one rendition and then Wim remade it because there was some confusion on it. So,
yeah,
we have Fun with Objects Part 2, and then we're going full release, i.e., leaving early access, and then high
which
seas.
is also release is also an update.
It is. I was not aware of that. My bad. I did not realize that was just like another update. So my bad. So high seas is 2027. You're not seeing the roadmap? I thought I switched the scene again. My bad. Stand by. Here you go. A GPS with my voice. What do you mean? Oh, like turn right in 200 yards. In 1 mile, take the exit on the right. Okay, got the roadmap up for everyone. Hey, you know what? You can learn. If I can measure in millimeters and centimeters and kilometers, I'm sure you can learn miles. It was developed by your kings and queens after all of your Imperial, I'm sure you can learn it. Just like a history lesson, right? I literally have a pair of calipers in my office. I measure in millimeters all the time. All the time. Okay. Next question. John, yeah. So after we've left early access, delivered on all our stretch goals remaining, then we will start leaning into, advanced concepts beyond that. So, I just had a teaser picture I pulled up and didn't realize. Let's talk about this while we're talking questions. This looks quite beautiful. Looks like a lot of your assets all in one place. Very scenic.
Yeah.
So next question comes from Lalandra Blue. I know the unicorn statue has the glass texture. Is there any chance of adding that to more statues? Good question.
Yeah, good question. It depends on the statue a bit, if it's gonna work or not, because it's see-through. I know the fountain also has it. Like there's this kind of fey fountain in the game.
Yeah, there's a few crystalline assets, but they're rare for sure. It would be nice to have a few more. Though I do think there are a few crystal assets in the next update, including a crystal room type. So that said, crystal and see-through assets like that are very difficult. They always require a different, essentially they're completely different than all the objects in the same set with different textures. Because of the way they look and react to light. There's another thing we're working on that's similar to that, like bubbles. There's always a different translucent or like optical illusion type assets being worked on. But yeah, John, like Old West and honestly, like some Victorian and leaning into like some steampunk works really well in Dungeon Alchemist right now. We have quite a few assets stock that lean into those. And then the workshop supplementation of over, 14,500 assets really allows people to go crazy in all those new themes. I've seen a lot of, post-apocalyptic and cyberpunk as well, even sci-fi maps being made with what's available, though it is a little bit more tedious, of course. Another image we got here. I think this is just another angle. These are so beautiful. I love the new statues.
Thanks.
The willow tree is going to be a great addition because I think the only willow tree available is on the workshop, and it has a huge collider. Like they didn't build a collider around the trunk. They built it around the hanging willows, and so wherever you place it, it's just like it absorbs everything in the area. You can't click anything. You have to move it before you can do anything with it.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue with the colliders if they're too large.
Beautiful assets, though. Really excited to see them in the future updates, especially because a lot of these will likely be in Fun with Objects too. And then a bunch of these other ones are ones you've made in the past, so a lot of people can check them out now. Okay, question here from Tropism. How long would the Willow Tree asset, for example, take to make?
The Willow Tree was quite a while because it was new. I don't think I've made a tree before, so I needed to find the correct tools and a good workflow so I can make more trees in the future. It's also quite hard because it has these hanging branches instead of just fluffy leaves.
How does
So
the
I think I worked
colliders on
it-
something like that work?
Usually for plants, we have a smaller collider in the center and then a collider only for the selection around it. So you can select it if you click on the branches, but you don't like actually run into it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So it doesn't overbear over other objects around it and overwhelm them. Fantastic. That's great. The Sunbeam assets on all of Magdalena's.
Yes,
images.
the Sunbeam. I'm so happy with the Sunbeam assets. Kenny made that one.
So explain that to me. Is that an effect or?
It's a placeable asset, and the nice thing is because of the object rotation, you can now just rotate it how you want it.
So you could have it come through windows and stuff. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it have coloration to it, or is it just the beam, like a radiant beam?
No, it's just a beam, I think.
That's cool. Yeah, nice eye there. I didn't notice it before, so didn't even realize.
Put it on all my maps, so it's really, really nice.
The light.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it always is, right? The god rays. Oh. Alrighty. The ray. Let's see here. Okay, we have addressed pretty much all the questions, but we do have some appreciation posts really quickly. Actually, I think this one we discussed earlier from Low Key, but we'll do it again. I absolutely love the assets created by the talented artists at DA. Even though I don't know exactly which assets you've worked on, thank you for all the amazing work you've contributed. And then Liz Valentine, new member of our community, said, I made one map so far, but I love the UI. Honestly, it's always good to just get kind words and feedback from our community. If you have any, feedback or love for Magdalena, before we wrap up her session today, please let us know in chat so we can make sure she sees that. If you are in any alternative chats, we'll make sure we relay that to her. So I'm monitoring all chat feeds now for the next couple of minutes to pass on the good vibes. Really quickly, just some suggestions that were brought up during the stream that I want to remind you of, maybe if you want to take notes of, because you might get a chance to talk to Wim about it before I do. Is mangroves or swamp-related flora. Stumps and felled trees, kind of matching all the trees that we have. Empty bottles was another thing. That was more something I brought up, but it has been brought up by the community a lot. So I don't know, maybe that's something to consider in the future if you're looking for assets, ideas to bring up to Wim.
Yeah, for sure.
And Liz Valentine says she does beautiful work. That willow tree is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Thanks.
Very awesome. Very excited to see that in use. I've actually got it in my build, been able to play with it. It's quite cool. But in practice, I'm very excited for the community to get their hands on it because I'm sure there will be some creative use cases for it, and it'll add a lot of new design. Willows are more, I could say, you could see them in a swamp or a regular forest, but it will add a lot of different diversity to the existing forest canopy. So,
yeah,
thank you so much for your work on that. DM Crusader says, thank you for everything you've done for us. Your hard work makes my map making so much easier. Keep up the great work. Random Ladybird says, "Thank you, Magdalena, for joining us today. It was great to see and hear you. Keep up the great work." Honestly, yeah, it's very rare you get to put faces to the names of the team. You know, they're just these people behind the curtain, and I very much love bringing them on stream so we can peel back the curtain. You get to meet them, get to know them, and understand their roles in the team and what they've contributed, and what they're working on in the future. So very, very, very awesome having you on the stream today. It's always a pleasure to get
Thank
team
you. Thank you for
members
having me.
on. Sorry, what was that?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. And you're welcome back anytime. Wish we could have you guys on more. But I feel so bad pulling y'all away like often. That said, we only have like 2 or maybe 3 interview slots a month. So I try to spread out the interviews with our team members to maybe once a month or once every other month. Because there's only so many of us, like gotta spread it out throughout the year. Oh, no Highland Scottish Forest though. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what a Highland Scottish Forest looks like. I've been in tons of forest in the U.S. We've got all sorts of varied forest. Deciduous and coniferous and desert forests and like all sorts of stuff. But I have no idea what a Highland Forest would look like. I do think when it comes to that kind of stuff, we probably, when we make suggestions along those lines, a lot of inspirational like material, like photos and whatnot, would go a long way. To drawings, like the etymology drawings, that are like the scientific drawings and whatnot. But Highland Lass, I know that that is where you're from, and you're very passionate about your local flora and fauna, and like to get it right. And we're very eager always to get your feedback on that. And I know a lot of your suggestions have made their way into DA over the years. If you could send me a few screenshots of that, so I at least have an idea, I would love to have that so I could pass it on to the team. Let's see here. Inani says, "So happy with the art and design choices all the DA artists have made. They formed my 2-year-long campaign into amazing visual style that always makes my players get hyped for every session. Truly thanks from me as a DM and my group." Morgana,
Nice.
sorry, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and reply to that one.
I just said that's so nice. Thank you.
Isn't it? They're such kind words from our community.
Yeah.
Morgana Gray Rogue says, from YouTube, says, "I'm absolutely in awe of the gorgeous graphics in this game and how light plays with them. Excellent work to all of the team."
Very sweet.
Honestly, thank you all for the kind words. Thank you for coming out and asking lots of questions. Thank you for hanging out and just vibing with us today on the stream. These interview segments are always let's just say nerve-wracking on my end, because I got to line up these segments and then make sure it all falls into place, and then hopefully we get enough questions coming in, but it always seems to fall into place thanks to our amazing community and our amazing guests being such so kind to each other and so patient and awesome during technical difficulties or slow moments in the segment or whatever. So very, very grateful to everyone today that was here watching, whatever platform you were on, whether you were actively chatting or just lurking. Thank you for being here. And for this segment, keep in mind, we do have several segments after this. So after we send away our guests today, we will be continuing with a Q&A segment and so on. Now, before we do that, though, I just want to let the chat know if you guys have any last-minute questions for our guests. Any last minute comments, kindness comments, just sharing, the good vibes with Magdalena. Please do that now so we can get that shared with her before the segment ends and wraps up. I'll leave the chat open for the next 3 minutes for questions and, kind comments, after which we will send Magdalena on her way. Thank you again for sharing your time with us today. I know it's got to be getting late where you're at. You're like
No, it's
what?
not that.
You're in.
I'm in Belgium as
So
well.
you are about 8 hours ahead of me, I'd assume. It's probably so it's about 9:15 for you?
10:15. Close.
10:15. Oh, you're 9 hours ahead. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Dang. Sorry for keeping you up so late.
that's no problem.
I'm sure
I'm
for
not
the
going to bed
weekend,
at 10.
what are your plans after this? You going to be playing some video games, watching a movie, or are you going to wind down for the evening?
Probably one of the first two. Yeah, we'll see.
Is there a video game on your list lately that you've been playing?
Uh, let's see. I was playing Subnautica 2 with some friends of
Oh
mine.
my goodness.
Super good. Really happy with that one.
That first game gave me heart palpitations. So I don't
Oh,
think I
really?
could play I don't know what it is. Okay, so definitely like water fear. Like I'm not afraid of swimming. I think an ocean is what is the problem. There's just too much and too much depth. It drives me, it scares me. So playing those games, like I'd get to a certain point and I just couldn't play beyond it anymore because there was just too much darkness, too much depth, too much things that I couldn't see. I'd be able to take out the Leviathan or two, and then once it was like you got to expand beyond into the dark regions or whatever, and find other. Nope, never could. Anyway, love the game, but also I know my own limits. Let's just say that. This is a real question. Asmodeus asks, "What's your favorite food?"
That's a
finally a real question.
There are so many foods.
What's your favorite,
I pick one?
like if you go to snack in the kitchen, if you want to munch on something?
I mean, leftover pizza is pretty good.
Leftover pizza is pretty good. Though I wonder what the standard of pizza is in Belgium.
I mean, I can't really compare it to many other countries. I think it's quite good. I don't know.
I'm just curious what pizza's like in Europe as a whole. Because like, you got Italy as of course. I'm just wondering what it would be like. So like what's your favorite pizza in Belgium?
The one with the most vegetables, because I like vegetables.
Fair enough. Pizza lover. Subnautica is wild. It is terrifying. One of my friends, he's like, yeah, there's good loot at the back of the Aurora. Trolled me big time. That's where the Leviathan is just roaming, hanging out in the murky water. Anyway, okay, let's see here. What's your favorite Belgium beer if you drink any?
I don't drink beer. I don't like it. So I don't have one. My favorite beer is water, I guess.
Favorite beer is water. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, it looks like that's all the questions for today, and all the appreciation posts have been addressed. Oh, one more from Anani. Really appreciate the effort. These interviews are a core in the Dungeon Alchemist mapmaking show that I would love to keep as long as possible. It's a lot of fun and provides amazing insight. It really is a lot of fun to get to know our team, get to know our community members, peel back the curtain and learn about development a little bit from the other side of the screen, if you will. I hope you enjoyed the interview today and had fun with us. Everyone was on their best behavior, so I hope the community wasn't too rowdy to you.
No, not at all. Super nice.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Magdalena. You have an amazing evening. Oh, actually, really quickly, one quick thing. The asset, the Hendrik plush asset, was it you that made that?
Yes, I made that asset as well.
So in that same vein, before you go, we obviously have been doing giveaways for the plushes, and I have one here.
Same.
Love the plush. Very, very much in love with the plush. And I have a little bit of announcement with that. So last stream, I kind of jumped the gun and showed a figurine that I'd been working on in the background. I took that 3D model that you sent me and I put it into my 3D slicing program, and I 3D printed a full color Hendrik with like multiple colors. So in comparison, he is quite small. It's like it's his son. But the thing is it's cute, it's adorable. I love it. I was hoping to just start giving these away immediately with the giveaways. Wim had me, slow down a little bit. He wants me to send a couple of these to Belgium for quality control purposes. So he can check them out before we start giving them away. But I thought you'd be interested in seeing your work as a 3D print
great.
as well. I shared a couple of these in our general dev chat and a time lapse of the print if you want to check it out. But I'm very excited of the evolution of this plushie asset that we just put up on the workshop, and we were hoping to make a plushie campaign thing that fell through, and then we ended up getting them made anyway. Very happy that Wim was able to find a company to do this. Then it just lives on again, more variations. So your work in the physical, if you will.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll make sure when I send these, I'll make sure to print one to send your way as well, because it's only fair that you get one of these bad boys.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But anyway, I've been experimenting with multicolored printing. It's crazy good how printers have gotten now. So very excited for that. So the giveaway, there will be a giveaway for just a plush forthcoming, but I had to pivot and redo all of my content. I had videos and pictures and a script written. Have to redo it all before I announce this next giveaway. So my apologies in the delay on that. But anyway, very glad you got to see that print. Thank you again for being here, Magdalena. Appreciate you so very, very much for sharing your time with us today, and your insight, your expertise, your knowledge, and all those cool teasers, those assets for Fun with Objects. I'm very excited for the community to get their hands on them, to see the maps and cool things they make. Let's get a good send off for our friend here. Oh, one more comment from Lalandra. Hold on, there's a comment. Where is it? Loving all of the new statues that will be coming. Thank you for all your hard work. One more appreciation post. And we got thank you. Thank you, Magdalena. Thank you. Okay, Magdalena, I don't want to hold you any longer. Very much appreciate you. You have a lovely evening. I wish you the best. I'm going to disconnect you here and end our Discord call. You have a lovely evening.
Yes, you too. Bye-bye. Have fun.
It's going to do the collab cam first. And Discord now. See you later, Magdalena. You have a good evening. Bye-bye. Discord. Done. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being patient while I flip everything on the stream back to where it was. Let's get the music going. And I'm going to load up a map in the background. So, thank you, everyone, for being here for that interview. It was a lot of fun. It's always great to get a team member on for the streams. And I'm going to be honest with you, our next interview segment is also going to be a team member. It's very rare we get 2 in a month. But I'm looking to take some time off in next month, or the end of this month, beginning of next month. So I wanted to make sure we had 2 crazy back-to-back interviews before we go into a break. So, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the interview and the other interviews we do. It is a good amount of work to line up interviews and make sure schedules align and that people are able to attend, and it's this whole thing. Anyway, we're going to move on to our next segment here, which is the question segment. I'm just going to move my camera back into place. If you have any questions inquiries, need guidance in your map making. Maybe you found a map on the workshop, you're wondering how they built something, you're struggling with exports. Maybe you're new to our community and have tons of questions. Guess what? Now is the time to ask those questions. So feel free, let me know in chat, and I will do my best to address your questions one at a time for the next 15 to 30 minutes or so, depending on how many questions we get in. Can you export STL? Hegel over on Steam asked that. So Dungeon Alchemist does not export as a 3D file in any way. So while it is a tool to build maps in the 3D, that is only for perspective and to make sure you get all the details right. It will export in a top-down, either in a flattened top-down or 3D perspectives. Alternatively, you have camera tools. There is essentially what is like a drone camera that you can fly around maps and get shots at all different angles. You can get down on the ground and angle up. You can get above and angle down. You can get at all different angles if you want. You can even fly around and record video if you'd like. Alternatively, another camera tool that is great is the tokens. So you can place a token anywhere on a map as a set piece, you know, just part of the background. But then you can go into that token by clicking the eyeball icon on the UI, walking around the map in first person. You can record or take screenshots in this mode. Alternatively, I've heard of DMs streaming this view to their players while they explore a map, so they'll kind of follow along and update their players' first person view. Hegel, did that answer your question there? So you can export as an image or a video in a top-down through our export menu. Our maps are designed to be exported in a traditional top-down view for tabletop gaming and games like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder. So it's not really designed for like game design or 3D printing or designed for use with 3D virtual tabletops. I don't really think we'll ever go that route because Dungeon Alchemist wasn't designed with that in mind. Essentially, we'd have to gut Dungeon Alchemist from the ground up and redesign every asset to support true 3D exports as an STL. I'm assuming you said STL because you'd like to 3D print it, right? Because STL is the most commonly used in 3D printing. I only ask because I do a lot of 3D printing myself. I have a 3D printer running right now behind me. So I get it. Understandable, and I could see why you'd want that. The way our assets are designed, though, like if you look at this, it looks really detailed and beautiful, but what it is it's a flat plane with like wallpaper on it, like what equates to an image that is really beautifully detailed. So right now, if we were to export this as a 3D file, it'd just be a bunch of flat planes with no detail, no textures, just be a bunch of simple shapes and blobs. Because it's brilliantly texture mapped to make it very small in size and easier to, you know, save. Unfortunately, just not designed for that particular use case. Though I understand why you want it. Okay. Atlam, can you start gathering questions that come in from chat and putting them into a new message to me so I can keep track of them easier? Hey, Primal, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Howdy. Next question, I believe, is from Aegon. Is it Aegon or Aegon? I want to make sure I pronounce that correctly. Aegon? Egon? Igon? Don't want to butcher that. That's a lot. It could be everywhere in there. Anyway, welcome to the stream. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist, so you've roamed into the right channel to ask Dungeon Alchemist related questions. And I see you're a first-time chatter here, so I just wanted to give you a warm welcome. So, in relation to your question. So, not to blame Foundry or anything, but development is tricky, okay? And they are a separate team from us, working in development independently. And we are a separate team from them, working independently. So we have independent development paths and ideas and plans, right? Different roadmaps. So we released our multi-level over a year ago. And we released it in a way that it's compatible with all major virtual tabletops, whether or not they supported multi-level. We essentially made it so all our maps, all the levels export as individual scenes. So kind of like slices of a cake. Each floor is another level of a cake, right? Or another like layer of a cake. They all get sliced apart and separated and exported as individual maps, i.e. images or videos with an associated data file. In the case of Foundry, a JSON. In the case of Roll20, a script. In the case of Fantasy Grounds, what is there? Crap, I can't remember what they use. It's some sort of web-based data file. Anyway, all these different companies have different approaches and different data files and different things that for how they do stuff, right? When we released our multi-level, there was no true multi-level available on major virtual tabletops that work in a top-down capacity, i.e. Foundry, whatever. So we kind of jumped the gun, I guess. We made something hoping preemptively that this would kind of guide the market. Foundry developed independently their own multi-level, which they didn't really clue us in on or give us an inside track to. And they did it in a way that it is pretty ingenious. And they only released it in April, the beginning of April, which was a big surprise to their community. So essentially, this brand new feature that's been out just under 2 months, well, 2 months today, actually, we have to react to it. It isn't directly compatible with the existing, Dungeon Alchemist exports. If you export your map right now in Dungeon Alchemist for multi-level, it will still work with Foundry as separate scenes, individual scenes being each level, and then you use scene regions to link those together so they automatically load when your players go to like a walkway, a staircase, a ladder, whatever. So that still works with any version of Foundry currently available, if I'm not mistaken. But now that Foundry has released their new multi-level feature, it's essentially layers like they did, but instead of slicing those layers and splitting them apart, which was kind of the standard for all map making tool or all virtual tabletops, is i.e. each scene was its own, or each level was its own scene. That was the approach generally. They came up with a new approach, which is each of those scenes are laid on top of each other like a cake, but visible in a top-down. So sort of similar to like 3D printing. When you have a 3D printed object, a physical object like this is actually 3D printed. Each of these layers, right, are printed one at a time, top down. And at first it doesn't look like a whole lot. It's just a bunch of blobs. But as those layers expand and they go up one at a time, it becomes more detailed and intricate. So they're essentially using what is layers, similar to like Photoshop, right? Where you can see all of the visible layers that aren't blocking each other simultaneously. To this point, up until this feature launched, the closest thing to offering like a multi-level experience with this kind of feature was foreground and background layers, which most virtual tabletops offer, but that really doesn't help you beyond like a roof layer or the second floor, right? So I know this explanation's taken a long time, but I'm explaining for everyone here present so you understand and why. So this just launched 2 months ago. We were already 80%, 90% done with our development for our next update, which launches at the end of the summer. There's no way we could have foreseen what this development from Foundry would have been or how it would have launched and what it would have entailed until it came out and we could finally look at it, right? Because we get it at the same time as you. And so we have to reactionary adapt and come up with a solution after the fact. And at this point, we basically have had little to no time to do so because we already have our own development schedule, our own roadmap, our own, promises to our Kickstarter community and beyond of things that we promised to deliver on well before this feature released. And multi-level, by the way, was never one of those things. We just added multi-level and roofing due to the demand of our community. So, I'm not pointing fingers at Foundry. They released something really awesome. It's really cool. Each of their layers, they stack on top of each other. If your layer on the bottom is solid, every layer above it, if you make it transparent. So let's say you're looking at this image and everything on floor 2 should only be this visible image, right? And then everything outside of it should be a transparent image. So technically, every floor above floor 1 should export as like a PNG or a WebP with transparency to support this brand new feature, which is a possibility, but it's not as straightforward as just flipping a switch and making it work. It's going to take months of development and hundreds of hours of manpower to do. Okay, so simply put, there just hasn't been enough time to react to this change and make a new change and come up with a solution that meets our standards to a point that we can say, yes, this will be available in this amount of time. At this point, we were kind of blindsided, so to speak, and we have to adapt and come up with a solution. It'll probably take the better part of 6 months to a year if I had to wager. Every time I've brought it up to the devs, they're aware. They understand that Foundry is like one of our biggest subset of VTT users. They're aware that people want this feature and how they want it, but it's not a straightforward thing to do in Unity. Unity doesn't offer PNG support as a native feature, so they'd have to develop some sort of PNG support or converter, and then PNG itself is problematic because people build maps that are insanely sized in this. PNG really only scales up to about a 60 by 60 map before the files get insanely sized. Virtual tabletops have file size limits, right? They have resolution limits. They have all sorts of things to consider that we have to work around. PNG probably isn't the best format. WebP, I'd argue, is probably the better format in this case. Newer format on the scene offers similar features. Unfortunately, though, yet again, not supported natively by Unity and will require us building something from scratch. So while it is on their radar, we can't speak to when it will be available for sure. Me even saying 6 months to a year is at best a guess, because at this time, I haven't seen a working prototype of it. I don't think they're working on it at all because we're already so deep in our own development of a current update that we plan to launch before the end of the summer. So there's a lot to it. So when you export a map in Dungeon Alchemist, if you want it to support multi-level in Foundry at this time, the best way we recommend doing it is setting up each floor as a separate scene. Don't try and do them all in a single scene with foreground or background layers or multiple pancaked multi-level layers. Set them up as separate scenes. Floor 1 is scene 1, floor 2 is scene 2, and then set up scene regions to link the stairs and other floors between them. Now, that said, Aegon, your maps are exporting exactly as they're intended, exactly as we design multi-level. We don't offer any transparency above floor 2, so anything that you would want to do that to, you would have to kind of do it manually at this time. What we do offer, though, is a solution to kind of give you a workaround. So Dungeon Alchemist has multiple biomes, right? One of those biomes is the green screen biome. So if you select from the left menu this pile of rocks with a river going down it, and then you go to that same image in the top with the recycle symbol, you can change any map's biome to another biome. But before you do that, you want to make sure you saved your master map, then file save as, and make a split off version of that map. Meaning, give it a new name in the same folder so you know this is the one you're going to green screen. So you could set it as file save as Copperfall, and the name in the case of this map, just saying, you know, that as an example, Copperfall Chroma or Copperfall green screen, right? This isn't my map, it's one from the workshop, so I'm just gonna dive right into it. But you set that split map so you don't overwrite your main map and lose your work, okay? Next, you go into this tabs like I showed you earlier, change your biome from forest or whatever biome you're in to green screen, okay? So once you've taken your map and you've built it out, you convert it over to a green screen biome. This will keep all the buildings. Unfortunately, some of this map was built using objects. I'm not 100% certain if it's going to delete those or not. We'll have to find out. Nope, it kept them. So it kept a lot of the objects and it kept a lot of the buildings. So now it's essentially just a set piece with green screen areas that you can edit out. If you don't want any of these objects visible on this transparency, which you probably don't, you can delete them by hand with the object eraser for this level, and you're going to be file save asing these, each one of them, for different set pieces. So you can erase objects really quickly outside the houses. Some objects, it looks like they were raised manually and they're above the floor level, so it wasn't deleting them. Anyway, you can quickly do this. Once you've done that, you export the map again. All of this green area, if you take it into like Photoshop, GIMP, or any, like, there's free photo editors online that can swap out all the green instantly. You can instantly delete it and save it as a PNG or a WebM or a WebP, I mean. So while it's a couple extra steps, there are tools built in to kind of support this new feature that really just surprised us all at the end of the day. Yeah, it is very green. Sorry about that, Zex. How you doing? Labadoo, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. I feel like I've talked to you before. Where did I talk to you before? So while this isn't necessarily an amazing solution, it does give you an option, because green chroma can be edited out of almost any map or environment in real time with like a video editing program, or that's exactly what my backdrop here is, a green screen. So that's why you're able to see the map behind me, right? Or alternatively, you know, you can edit it out in a photo editor. So Agon, I hope I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name there. I hope that works for you to a degree. So as it stands right now, I would say that, you know, yes, we do want to tackle that issue with Foundry. Very much so. We understand it's vexing for everyone. I would use the strategy of, you know, every time Foundry launches a new update, I usually wait 3-4 months before I do it, because almost all my favorite modules aren't supported till later. So, you know, give us a little bit of time, A, to assess, and B, get us through this current update, and then we'll likely tackle it. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten a guarantee as to when. It's just, I do know the devs understand that there is a desire for this feature. We just have to figure out a way to fit it into our existing development schedule. Oh, nice. So you just flipped over the image or something, or changed the scene. That's very cool. Nice, John. By the way, how you been, friend? What you been up to? I hope I answered those questions to the degree people were hoping, because honestly, I know that is a rough one. Like, I know this new feature cooks, but it also is kind of frustrating that, like, we're like a map maker compatible with them, and we offered multi-level for 2 years now, and there was no, like, man, I wish there was some communication or something. It would have been great. It would have been nice to launch in parity, or at least a couple months behind them, you know, with like an update. I think there were mistakes made all around. Let's just say that. Hey, Pokey Tavern, how you doing? started as session 0 of Deadlands Curse of Strahd. Nice. Hope that goes well. Are you DMing or playing, John? Kaiser, welcome, welcome. Late for the updates. How are you, Mac? I'm good. I'm good. Welcome back. Hope you're well. Yeah, you are a little late today, but no worries. Better late than never, right? Glad you're here, my friend. Glad you are here. Always DMing, forever DMing. Jim, hello. How are you? So Volkar has a question, right? Maybe a bit hard to say for certain, but is there a plan from the development team on what and how to tackle future projects past early access? I know VTT and expansions have been discussed. So, I mean, one thing we've shown, if anything, we can work on multiple things in parity. We've been able to push out updates that are planned by adding, requested features simultaneously. I wouldn't put it past the team to offer, some sort of like a strategy around, the VTT while simultaneously the art team works on something else. Because I would imagine the VTT is more like UI, UX design heavy and not as much art heavy, right? Than at least initially in development, right? So the art team would probably be working on the add-ons, all of the assets for the add-ons, while the core team, the development team works on likely the virtual tabletop aspects. I've also heard discussions about us doing another Kickstarter for the virtual tabletop, though that remains to be seen. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of potential, for the future. I would say most likely, though, they'll be developed in parity. We'll just probably pick one and stick with it. Get that first, add-on expansion while we are simultaneously, developing and hyping up the virtual tabletop. In parity, not parody, parity. I know that. I know, like that. English isn't your first language, so no worries. Hopefully, you can learn from that. But yeah, I honestly, I mean, I may be speaking out of turn here, but that seems logical. Like the art team would be just doing nothing. I mean, we need the art team for the VTT, but not as much as it would be for like we do with asset creation, right? So I'd imagine that it would make more sense for the asset team to be busting out those expansions, a cyberpunk pack, or a sci-fi pack, or a modern pack, or an apocalypse pack, while the other parts of the team work on the development of other tools. No, I get it. Oh. Any other questions for me? Yes, the English language is quite complex, isn't it, Chim? You know, it's funny because they all are in a roundabout way kind of subtly mean the same thing. Parody is simultaneously, right? Developed in parody. A parody is just a fun copy, you know, a silly, whimsical tribute to a song or an art piece or a movie or whatever, right? And then parroting is when your parrot copies you, or it's obviously used in a way to say mimicking or copying. But I see some all different words, but all somewhat similar in a way. What kind of hair product do I use? Very little. Honestly, like I definitely I had a little bit of hair this morning, and then I decided I needed to shave it. That's I shampoo my hair and beard like pretty regularly when I have them, but when I don't, it's nice to not have to worry about that. Ladies, I'm telling you, cut down on your morning routine. Just shave your head. The Rock has his own shampoo line. That seems like a big waste of time. See, I didn't even know it existed. That's how popular it is. You know, Anani, that essentially got tabled for the time being. What is the air speed of an unladen swallow? Is it African or European, John? I wish I had a hair product here. See you later, Primal. You have a good one. Hope you have a lovely evening. Oh. Yeah, but it's not nearly as necessary. And I just use whatever shampoo the missus picks. Because I don't have hair, I don't really have much of a say in the matter. I have hair in places we shouldn't discuss. And that's it. My game is so close. Our next session's on the 13th. The 14th. We are 8 days away. 8 days. Yeah, I like this little set piece. This looks like a fun little map here. Oh, GM Eric's got great tips. He's also a great GM. Really enjoy him as a GM. And if you're looking to learn how to DM, watch his streams. He hosts like 5 streams, 6 streams a week of gameplay. Listen, you shouldn't have a shampoo line just for your eyebrows, is all I'm saying. Map is beautiful. Found it on the workshop. It's called Copperfall. The creator left the roofs off of a couple buildings. I'm assuming they intended their players to go in these ones specifically, so they probably left it exposed. But yeah, that's a artistic choice, I'm assuming. Granted, I could just always go in and roof it up. Anyway. Atlam, do I need to ban you? Atlam, do you even have a license for dad jokes that awful? Stop! This is the dad police. I don't think your license is up to date. What I look like with a beard? I've grown a beard out a few times, but I don't know, maybe it's my ADD, but I like get to a point where my facial hair drives me crazy. It gets to a certain point, I just can't let it grow any further. I have to shave it all off. And like, I will go grab the beard trimmers and just all of it. John, no. No. Honestly, appreciate the dad jokes. Yeah, me too. For now, I mean, honestly, our stock solution works great with Foundry as long as you're not trying to use this new implementation, which is a scene per level. All the exports export automatically as a scene per level. So it's pretty straightforward and it's worked great, perfectly fine up until this point. So, I mean, it still works. It's just, I know it isn't agreeable with this brand new feature out. By the way, if you have other questions, let us know. Please, please. That's what I'm here for. Honestly, okay, so that's a good question, Kaiser. So, Kaiser says, if DA had an AI chat, what would you like it to be called? Clippy? Hendrik. It would be Hendrik. Honestly, so years ago, so Dungeon Alchemist, the like environment generation and room generation uses a procedural algorithmic AI that it was developed entirely in-house. It's not a generative AI. It is not like those, you know, data center, water hoarding, environment ruining, you know, art stealing, inspiration ruining tools. Completely different. It runs locally on your own machine, so it's very, very, you know, green in that essence, or in that, you know, line of thought. Also, it's developed entirely in-house, meaning all the development around the data sets, all the art, everything used end-to-end in Dungeon Alchemist was created in-house by our talented team of artists like Magdalena that you saw on stream earlier, or our very talented dev team. So at no point are any public maps, assets from the workshop, art, data sets, anything like that used to train our map generating AI and room generating AI. So we feel that like AI can be developed ethically and used for ethical sources, right? I think it being focused on generating maps for your, you know, tabletop campaigns and saving you time is a great use of AI. So that said, when AI started becoming more of a hot button issue a couple years ago, you know, as soon as ChatGPT became very popular and Claude and all those, you know, image generation tools, there started to become a lot of talking about AI and its how ethical it can be or not, but usually isn't. And, you know, all of a sudden it was a problem to have AI in your name or description, even though not all AI are the same or generated equally or created equally or with the same intention or with ill intent. So Dungeon Alchemist's AI is ethical, above board. We like to distinguish ourselves and make sure people understand that. But years ago, when AI became an issue, we had AI all over our ads and namesake and descriptions, like using the term, because we were one of the only tools on the market at the time that did AI map making. And we were very fledgling and kind of groundbreaking at the time, too. I mean, still are. But that being said, it quickly became a problem. A lot of people would see AI and would just turn their nose up on it, would not do any research, and would just not buy our product just simply because it said AI, because they assumed it was like that other stuff. So that said, we kind of distanced ourselves from that. But when it first came out, one suggestion was, let's name our AI and kind of educate our community on what our AI is. Let's educate the greater community what we do and what we offer, and that we're not, an unethical AI. And so the naming convention, I said, let's call it Hendrik. The devs were like, nah, we don't really care about that. But they did care about the education part. So I've been educating our community ever since on, that. And if only there was someone named Roko and their basilisk, maybe it might help us in this dilemma. Anyway, that said, I do, I understand artists, I understand, content creators, I understand DMs, concerns around AI and its use and its unethical uses. And I know plenty of people, have started using AI in their day-to-day to help them as a tool, whether it's for, having something to proofwrite your writing, or maybe help, you speed up a process, whether maybe you are awful at drawing and you use it. I'm not saying anything against you. If you want to use that tool, that's up to you. And for those that are against it, guess what? We don't use that kind of stuff. So anyway. Is it Roku's basilisk or Roko's? I thought it was Roko's basilisk, but maybe I was wrong this whole time. Anyway, I do think that, I don't know, I just wanted to humanize it a bit. The name Hendrik would mean that, we put some forethought into it and like, whatever. I don't know, it's easier to become less hostile to something when it has a name. Like... This is a pencil, right? You've seen pencils. This one's pretty worn. It has no eraser. Well, this pencil is now named Steve, right? Steve is now our stream mascot. What went through your head when I snapped Steve in half? Like, just because I gave him a name, it instantly bonds you to it. You were like, wait, don't hurt Steve, okay? But it's just a pencil, right? So you get what I'm saying, right? Nah, you hated Steve. You're that 10th dentist, right? You like wet socks and all the things people hate, you love it, don't you, John? Anyway. Anyway, statistically speaking, usually giving something a name, it like makes people less aggressive towards it. You know what I mean? That was kind of a silly idea I had a few years ago. That said, if we ever get a chance to name it, I would definitely want to name it Hendrik or Eliza. Eliza does have like a basis in AI history, so it's kind of fun. It makes sense to name it Eliza as well, because like wasn't the first AI named Eliza? Anyway, enough about that conversation and AI. Steve, shoot, what is it when the cells split? Metamorphosis? Mitosis. Yep, that's it. Steve just had mitosis, and now I have two pencils, two Steves. Steve 1 and Steve 2. Yeah, no, it does make sense. Alrighty. I don't think there's any more questions coming in, so we're going to move on to map showcase. I've been showcasing one of the maps I found on the workshop while we've been hanging out. So we'll take a closer look at this one. A two-headed Steve. Technically, since the eraser's bad on Steve, I could make him a four-headed Steve, a Steve Hydra, if you will. So he went down, but he comes back stronger. And more dangerous. So this map is called Copperfall. I found it on the Steam Workshop this morning. I think it's a very beautiful build. But my point stands. You know, you give something a name and kind of, you know, just get people like attached to it. It becomes harder to hate it. I think my point is very valid. Steve also stands, yes. I mean, he probably can't stand very well at the moment. You give a name to every beer you drink. You got to bring one of those naming books to the bar because you start running out of names after a while. A dentist, perfect dentist. No, anytime my wife does something awkward, I say that. You're probably the 10th dentist, aren't you? Just things that everyone, you like sleeping with your socks on. You love wet socks. Just things that everyone hates statistically. I love this design though. From Armand Asante to Zach Ziegler. That's a lot of names. John probably likes it when sweat drips into his eye. He likes the last donut. Yes, these are houses. Good eye there, Pokey Tavern. You've got a really good eye, actually. I was going to point that out, but you got ahead of the game. So notice these roofs on these homes. They got chimneys and these neat gabled roofs that are like slanted. And these are actually an object called War Table House. So these are in the object menu. If you search War Table, there's a whole bunch of assets to build a war table for like a war room, right? Castles, walls, rivers, tables, windmills. Anyway, you can take these, place them on the map. They're absolutely tiny, right? But if you turn off collisions up here in this menu, when you disable collisions, you enable the fun. By disabling collisions, you unlock object scaling, meaning you can scale an object far above or below its normal scaling limitations. You also can merge objects together. So this is a great tool. Maybe you want to make a custom house. So there we put a little nook at the front, right? And a second door. You can merge objects together to make new and unique objects overlaying each other. And then lastly, when objects collisions are off, this arrow appears on an object. As long as it's not locked in place to like a wall or a pit, you can then raise it up and down. Actually, wall-mounted objects you can raise up and down too. For the most part, I'd say 99.9% of objects you can raise and lower them on the Z-axis once you disable collisions. Very beautiful map, for sure. Your buddy Don Quixote hates windmills. Man, I can't wait to make a windmill after the new update because it'll have all the like gears and stuff to combine it all, like so you can transfer the energy to something, doing something with it. This map has a little bit of everything. There's a mine, just a quaint little village, lovely cobblestone roads, farms, lots of landscaping. Quaint little town for your players to visit. Got another map I'd like to pull up, but I just wanted to explore this a little bit with everyone so you get an idea of what you're looking at. Here, they actually put a flat roof and then put some of these angled object roofs. These are clay roofs that are objects that you can just place in. So I could technically match this to the rooftop with another like that style, right? So it looks a lot more appropriate, and it looks great because the angle of the like eave is right up against the wall, so runoff would be more natural this way. So all they did was place these by hand, and they're a bunch of flat floors there with this on it. Really brilliant. Whatever. You'll be on the stream just as much, if not more. Going full Wallace and Gromit. Nice. Okay, I'm going to pull up the other map. For anyone curious, this map's called Copperfall. Here, let me grab the workshop link for it. I'm going to go ahead and grab the link for this. Oops. Hey. Every time I try to copy the link, the pop-up window for it closes. So here's the link for that map if you want to download it, check it out. Next. You can, but it requires a little bit of trickery. So Poke Tavern, that is a bit of an advanced concept. I'll give you kind of a jump start on it here in a moment, but I would recommend you drop into our Discord after the stream and spin up a question thread so we can deep dive into it. So I wanted to show off this map. I was already in the middle of loading it. Let me load a new map so we can do this concept really quick for our friend. Yeah, you can get them the link, though, just in case. I'm pretty sure they're already in our Discord, though. They joined a couple weeks ago, so if I recall correctly, they joined in and said, hey, I was in the stream, Max stream earlier, something like that. I remember them joining. Now, Obviously, objects can be rescaled. So you have, if you disable collisions, you could take a tree and scale it to the max, make it redwood sized, right? So that's one thing you need to know. Scaling up objects far beyond their limits with the collision toggle. The other thing you need to consider is raising buildings above their normal height. So you start at floor 1, and you can't jump to floor 2 unless there's something at floor 1, right? So what I'm going to show you is a little trick here. I'm just going to select like cabin, because that'd be a fun little hut or like a tree house eventually. And I'm going to generate an object or a building with nothing, okay? At floor 1. No floors, no walls, no windows, no doors. I'm just going to generate it over here somewhere. It doesn't really matter. Notice there's a little stub there of flooring, right? I'm going to put a rock on top of that just to hide it. Now, notice in the UI over here, I can jump up another level. Right? I don't know if you're seeing a pattern here. Come back in. Now, remember this thing I covered up? Let's uncover it for the sake of this practice. I'm going to generate a floor right above it that's nothing again. Okay, you see what I'm doing here? I'm now generating a sort of a ladder to a higher level. And this is all by going into settings and generating it with nothing, okay? Now I'm up to floor 3. And now I can generate a structure at floor 3. So we're going to turn roofing and floors and walls and windows and doors on. We'll turn objects on too. Okay, make sure you're at floor 3. That's a good point because it'll be well up in the tree, right? And you could do a different tree at different heights. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to round it out. So there, let me turn on the grid. I have my grid super transparent, so you couldn't even see it if you wanted to right now. So I got to just change that. So I'm going to make this a round tree hut. I'm going to make that evenly divisible. So 8 by 8, meaning I can pull in 4 squares on each corner. Notice that will generate at an upper level. So I'm just going to generate this. Okay. And now we could take that tree from earlier and just put it right in the center. The problem with doing this with this particular tree is you can't see it, right? And if it gets too big, it makes it very hard to see. So you got to kind of watch which tree you use or what size it is. Okay. But yeah, you could put a building in a tree house. There are other trees that are probably better for this. Use some without anything on it. You know, without any of the canopy or one of the fey trees. Essentially, at the end of the day, the options are only limited to, you know, you putting things up in the air and which trees you have in DA and which ones on the workshop. You could even put a hole in there for like a hatch or something. But you get the idea. Very quick, dirty demonstration, but that is the long and the short of it. There are some tree houses on the workshop. Some use this method. Some use the older method of stacking objects to build something. Because objects can be raised and lowered, right? On the Z-axis if you disable collisions. So people would build tree houses by hand using structural objects. Because there are hundreds of thousands of structural objects. Walls of all types. You know, stone construction, metal construction, platforms, wooden platforms, stone platforms. These work great in building tree houses. So people would use these as well. There is also a couple of prefab tree houses. Where is it? It's under here. Constructions, I believe. Yeah, there's this tree house here that's already pre-made. This one's pretty cool. You can actually take the top off and decorate inside. It's got a little deck. It's got a door that opens and closes. There is also the not really a tree house, but the Baba Yaga hut, and a swamp hut. A few different prefab buildings to add some diversity into your builds. Does that help you out, my friend? Kind of guide you in the right direction? Hey, Mondu, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back. So when textures are a problem, usually I break up the monotony by mixing textures of different types, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grass, you know what I mean? Or I put objects on top of them to break up the monotony. So like the stone pathing repeats a lot and the dirt pathing repeats a lot. So I'll put like pebbles on them, you know, a twig here and there, things to break up the monotony, a stone, you know, in the road, little things like that. Glad I was able to help, Pokey. So this map's called Hearthstone Castle. I found it on the workshop earlier today, prior to the stream. It is made by, let's see here. Where is Stan? Stan the Man made this one. Copperfall, the previous map, was made by Serpent. I don't know what names they go by in our Discords or streams, so if they are present, we'd love to meet you, love to get to know you, but otherwise, that's their Steam names. So this map here, a great little keep. Nice, thick, defendable walls, towers to see around. You've got crenulations with like arrows, arrow slits, and of course, defensible positions with catapults, and ballistas. You ended up not doing the deck of many things. I saw you talking about it in GM chat. I was going to pipe up and say, but I wanted to let you come to the decision yourself. Honestly, the deck of many things can be a campaign ender, man. It is such a cool item, but it can quite literally destroy and derail your campaign in a session. So, I don't know. It's one of those items you really have to gauge it off of your group's energy and how they play. What did you put in the loot instead? Now, I love all the symmetry of this build, and then they added in this massive extra tower. Wondering what's in this tower. Are you wondering? Because I'm curious. An orb of dragon kind. Okay, tell me what that item does. I'm not familiar with that offhand. Summons evil dragons in your area, like summons them to you so you can fight them, or do they like team up with you? Good question, Shlomo. So Shlomo asks, and we're going to network with the chat here, try and get the hive mind going. So if anyone has any suggestions, let me know. Looking for a mansion for a wealthy noble bad guy. Would be a single building with maybe a side building. Any suggestions from the workshop? That side building, is it like a caretaker's cottage type situation, or is it like a mother-in-law apartment? What's the story with the side building? And the main building, I'm assuming, just typical mansion. Gotcha. Okay. So, chat, have any of you made a map like that and shared it on the workshop, or seen a map like that that you can suggest? We got a suggestion from Highland Lass. Blah, blah, blah. I don't see it on here, so it might not be uploaded. Lalandra says to check out Peacock Manor. Peacock Manor. Yep, we got one right here. Looks like a little attached structure on the front there as well. And you could expand the yard to be whatever you want. It's just ready to go. And then what else do we got here? Caldbeck. Oops, it was not typing. Interesting. It was just lagging. Huh, I'm not finding that, random ladybird. Cauldbeck. Now let's just search mansion, see if anything comes up. So a few messages were dropped in chat with a bunch of suggestions. What I would do is sort by most recent, right? Because that'll give you a lot of newer maps that are multi-level. At least by design. There was one, though, I just recently shared. It was an estate. Hold on. That one's pretty cool. And it has this one here, the Stranglewood Estate, has like a maze, a garden, a hedge maze. This one's pretty neat. I'll search that term, okay? Highland Lass. Nice little mansion there. The only thing it doesn't have is the caretaker's cabin, which you could just generate one on the side really quick, somewhere over here. Or in the back of the maze somewhere, right? Nice. This one's called Stranglewood Estate. Here, let me grab a link if I can find it. Here it is. Oh my goodness. That one's the Stranglewood Estates that we're looking at right here. So you've got an upper level, and then it's got this lovely little deck here, and then lots of different areas to explore inside. And then there's an underground area with some mystery as well. Like a burial chamber. This might work for what you're needing. Random Ladybird, it'll take a few minutes for it to update on the workshop end. Unfortunately. Looks like we're at the end of the stream. This looks like a good one, though. Let me search and see if we can find those other ones that were suggested. So, Kyron. Wasn't that like, here it is. I don't know why when I searched it earlier, it didn't come up. Maybe I misspelled it earlier. That one looks really nice, actually. Got a little cottage in the corner already. Let's load her up. Yeah, you could see it up at the top, can't you, with an E? Or is that hard to read? Stranglewood. Here, I'm loading up the Kieran one right now. You gotta go, Chim. What do you got going on? No, I'm just kidding. See you later. We'll see you Monday. I'm gonna be wrapping up the landing page on Monday, and then we'll have to be picking a new theme. So excited for that. Though I'm very much considering expanding our Bastion to include new floor plans, because we're likely going to be leveling up, or either we're going to die or level up. So if we level up, that means new Bastion rooms. So you got 7 floors topside, a lovely garden. Oh, it's a gazebo here. Okay. So no, oh, that looks like a shed here. So this one will only be public for a while. And if you search Kieran Mansion, getting the link for that now. When I search Caldwood Random Ladybird, I am not finding it right now. Cool, thank you for doing that. Appreciate you. I was trying to get the links for both. So if you subscribe to them on the workshop, you can open them later in Dungeon Alchemist and download all the assets at any computer you have Dungeon Alchemist. Or if you're at your computer right now, go to the workshop, subscribe to them, and then open up your Steam Workshop tab, and they'll show up here. And then you can open the map and download all the assets and load it up and check it out. Called Beck. My bad. Is this one a multi-level map, or is it a legacy map? Because he wants a multi-level. And you got some links in chat as well, Shlomo, that you can, if you open those up, that'll go to the Steam Workshop page on the internet. So you could just favorite them, bookmark them for later. So it doesn't even need to open a Steam app, I believe. Here, let me open this up here. Called Beck, my bad. I honestly like to browse the workshop on my phone sometimes, and I'll just subscribe to maps, and then later on I'll pull them up on my computer and then download all the assets and open it. Maybe they're not seeing the chat. Could be an issue. I don't know. Yeah, this is a legacy build. Unfortunately, they were looking for something that is not a legacy build. What is your map, Fox? Whew. I don't see any named that. Are any of these yours? Fox? Is the map set to public on the workshop? Because if you upload it, you also have to set it to public for other people to see it. If you set it to friends only or private, then no one can really see it. So really quickly, just so anyone who isn't aware, when you're using the asset importer or the map publisher, right? When you publish a map, you can set the visibility to private, friends, or public. By default, it's private. So it's essentially just a backup in the cloud of your map at that point. You title it, you describe it, only you can see it. If it's friends, only your friends on Steam can see it. If it's public, everyone can see it. Why can't you get it? Highland Last just set it to public, so it might be a bit before you can access it. I might be able to access it because my account is an admin level, so I can see a lot of things other people can't. But there is always a period of time, like I can see the ones set to friends and private if I'm in the Steam app, but I can't see them in here. And then also there's a period of time if a map's just been set public or just uploaded, there's a time where I can't see it because it's going through approval from the moderators of Steam. But like if I'm in Steam, I can see every map and every asset. People have all sorts of crazy assets that are set to private, which thank goodness, because they'd probably be a violation. Like whether copyright or content, whatever. Oh my goodness, Mondu. So Mrs. Mac and I have been collaborating on some art for the campaign. I spent some time arguing with an AI to try and get it to draw me like a baseline of my character where I was kind of happy with it. And then I just gave that to her and I was like, hey, this is kind of what I was looking for. Can you work with me to draw something based on this? She was like, yes. So she's been working on some art for my character because he's going to look slightly different than he did before and have new eyes that kind of look like galaxies or like a solar system or something. Anyway, then and my skin is going to look very like gaunt and sunken. Like all of a sudden I have like lines, like maybe I'm a little bit older looking or like I've lost a part of myself. Yeah, wifey's better than AI all day. I just hate doing tons of renditions with her because it wastes a lot of her time. So what I'll do is I'll get a rough rendition or a description together of what I'm looking for and give her some inspiration art pieces and stuff, and then she uses that. Does that make sense? Also made some art. How do you search stuff in the Steam app? One moment. So if you got the Steam app on your phone or whatever device, you open the Steam app. It's been a minute since I've loaded it, so give me 1 second. Because they just changed it. So you load the Steam app, and in the bottom right corner of your Steam app is a hamburger icon. It looks like 3 lines. That's what they call this icon right here. Looks like 3 lines next to each other, one on top of another. Just so everyone knows, in development terms, that's called the hamburger icon. You click the hamburger icon, it expands and shows a bunch of different tabs. One of them is labeled Community. So you find the Community tab there, just below Library. My green screen's freaking out on that. When you open Community, one of them says Workshop. Okay? So you click the Workshop tab in there. And then once you open that, it'll show workshop stuff for like all sorts of games, right? But you should be able to see a Dungeon Alchemist tab in the top there or game hubs for you. And you can click Dungeon Alchemist, especially if it's your most recent game. Geez, they did change this around a little bit. 1 second. Nope, that's not it. Community home. There. Okay. Never mind. No, this isn't it. What is going on here? Man, they changed it. I gotta find it. They did just update the app a little bit, so give me just 1 minute. Okay, that was a little bit convoluted. Okay, so when you find where it says community, right? This is actually a different step. They've moved it. So where it says community in your app, gosh, I shouldn't even show here. So you've opened the hamburger, it says community, click community home, okay? Right, and then open the game hub for Dungeon Alchemist. Once you've opened the game hub for Dungeon Alchemist, it'll look like this, right? Up at the top, it says all. There's like a drop down menu. You click that menu, and then in there is a tab that says workshop. So you've got to be in the Dungeon Alchemist hub before you open our workshop. Sorry, that is a pain. It used to be way less steps. So now you can see there's assets right there. That is Dungeon Alchemist related content. From there, you can side scroll, it looks like, or you can click view all. You can click, and if you scroll down, it's most popular, all that stuff. Sorry, they buried it, man. It used to be a lot easier to get to. It was like 3 less clicks than this. Anyway, if you subscribe or to any assets or maps there, when you open up Dungeon Alchemist later, it'll be here in the open subscribed maps or subscribed assets section. Sound good? All right, everyone. The search on PC, let's I know where it is. I'll help you, okay? So open your library up in Steam, and then you select Dungeon Alchemist in the left from your library. You probably have a lot more games listed. I have all my other games uncategorized. I have DA and favorites, so it's just easier to find during the stream. Once you're here and you see DA loaded up, you've got your hours playtime there. You can see all the different community tabs, but you have the workshop tab. Okay. Now that you're in the workshop tab, you can just click search here right below these tiles. So they're making everything big and quicker to load. So you can just click search there, but if you sort, you can click map or asset and divide the categories, right? So essentially, you can just go to map only and search in this tab by the map name or whatever. You still can't search by creator as far as I'm aware, unless they have the name inside of their design, right? But if you click on the creator's name, it goes to the traditional old layout where you could see, all their maps or all their assets. So essentially, I think we need to get rid of the one that says category, right? Because category is actually technically assets as well, because it's a separate category. I think there was something weirdly designed when we created this category because they're the same, right? But over 14,600 maps and over 15,600 assets. Quite a few either way. But the search is right there now. It's kind of hidden. Alternatively, if you want to find your own assets, you can click it here where it says your items. I actually have a video coming out about this. I was waiting for them to update this so I could release a video tutorial showing people how to unsub from all their assets, because people will sub to every asset under the sun as soon as they learn about them, and then it decreases your performance in Dungeon Alchemist. Your load times increase, your maps take forever to load, your frame rate drops if you have too many assets that you're subscribed to. So from the asset browser, you can click your items, click subscribed items, and then from here, unsubscribe from all. Shlomo, do you see chat from Atlam? Atlam just shared a link with you for Kieran Mansion. They've been trying to give you links for the last 5-10 minutes or so in Twitch chat. Our moderator, Atlam, has. Gotcha. Yeah, if they're on mobile, it makes sense. It's a little tricky. They got to bounce back and forth. Only like Samsung devices can do split app, meaning 2 apps at once on the screen, and not very many people do it or know how to. So essentially, if they're like on an iPhone or pretty much any phone, they got to go back and forth between them. So it's probably a pain. They can't listen constantly or see the chat constantly. All those links are for you, Shlomo, to check out, okay? They've got a bunch of different maps that were all considered mansions. Sound good? So, honestly, a lot of people don't even know features like that exist. I only do it like if I'm multitasking on my phone and 2 different apps, like I'm running something on the side while I'm browsing the internet or something. Cool. Fantastic. All right, everyone, it's time to wrap up the stream. I had a lot of fun hanging out, but unfortunately, we do need to go. I've run quite long today. We're actually 15 minutes past the deadline for the stream wrap-up time. So, thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you. I had a lot of fun in our interview segment with Magdalena. I hope you enjoyed the interview, those that got to tune in for it. And for those that didn't, we have an interview on the stream every 2 weeks. We invite a guest from our community or our dev team or other communities to join us. And so we can get to know them, pick their brain, and, in this case, see things they've worked on for Dungeon Alchemist development and, learn about their upcoming development work. Our next interview will be 2 weeks from today. It'll be on the 20th of June, and we are inviting another one of our dev team up. Quentin, one of our devs, will be joining us. Quentin has done a lot of work on Dungeon Alchemist in the past, various tools that you use almost every day. He's done a lot of work on the Steam Workshop, for instance. He's doing a lot of work. I think he actually did the work around the custom object brush. He's doing work right now on a spline tool for Dungeon Alchemist, among other things. So things are really, 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 cooking behind the scenes, but it's going to be cool to have one of our dev team on us, particularly at this time in the development cycle of our next update, where they're so busy. It's just an absolute pleasure to have them on. So make sure you tune in on the 20th. For those that are interested in the Dam Challenge, you only have about a week, 6 days to submit your prison-themed maps. For those wondering what the Dam Challenge is, every 2 weeks on alternating weeks of this stream, the Dungeon Alchemist Mapmaking Show, opposite Saturdays of the interview, the segment is replaced with a map-making challenge called the Dam Challenge. The theme for the current Dam Challenge is prison. You use prison as inspiration, make a map of any shape or size, and submit that map to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord, our official Discord. There is a channel labeled Dam Challenge. At the top of that channel is a pinned message with some rules. You can check the pins for the channel, and it just goes right to those messages. There's like 4 rules, so you just gotta adhere to those rules and submit your map before the deadline, which the deadline for this Dam Challenge is Friday the 12th, no later than 11:59 in your 11:59 p.m. in your time zone. So make sure wherever you live, whether it's Hawaii or the UK or Belgium, Australia, make sure that is submitted before 11:59 p.m. in your time zone in the Dam Challenge channel. So make sure you've created the map, submitted it, uploaded it to the workshop, given it some images and descriptions, all that stuff, and posted it in the Dam Challenge channel. If your map is a winning map, You're the first map featured in the Damn Challenge segment. You get a $10 Hero Forge gift card as a prize, and your map is also featured in our weekly newsletter, the Cardomancer Chronicles, which gives you a lot of eyes on your work, a lot of downloads, and usually pushes your map to the top of the workshop, which means more eyes on it, more downloads. Usually is a top featured map for several weeks, if not months, as a result. Wait, prison, did I say hotel? When did I say hotel? Anyway, the current theme is prison. Ah, gotcha. Anyway, I was so confused. I thought I said something like that. I was like, did I say hotel? Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in. Oh, is my head burnt? Do I look burnt? Honestly, when I work out in the garden, Pokey Tavern, I wear a hat, usually. Definitely want to make sure I protect the scalp, you know? Prisons like Hotel California a little bit. You can check out anytime you like. You can never leave. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. Had a ton of fun hanging out with you with today's Dungeon Alchemist map making show. We'll be back Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. UTC for roughly 2.5 hours for what is called Map Maker Monday. Every Monday, I build a map live for you to watch and learn. Right now, we're tackling a sort of different concept, something you can't just generate in Dungeon Alchemist, so it's a little bit more advanced concept. It's called a landing page. You may be familiar with this, or you may not. For those that aren't, I'm going to explain it really quickly and show you what we've been working on. A landing page is essentially a primer, a loading screen, if you will, like in a movie or a video game, where it shows content relevant to the game, the movie, or in this case, a campaign. So thematic content around a campaign that, you know, your players can see and use as inspiration, or even be interactable. If you're using a virtual tabletop like Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, you often can make them interactable so your players can click on them and unlock things. So this is what we've been working on. This one's actually for my campaign, where I am a player. We don't currently have a landing page, so I spoke with the DM and I started working on it. This is it right here. We'll be working on this a little bit more on the stream tomorrow, so make sure you tune in, or I mean on Monday, so make sure you tune in. There's a little bit of work left to do, and then we're going to finalize this map and upload it. But essentially, yeah, the Dragon Head Shadow is it's kind of an interactive piece. I wanted the Dragon Head as part of the map, but the thing is we're actually in a major arc right now where we've been, well, we got this book, which was a key to get into the Dragon's Lair, and we just accessed the Dragon's Lair last session. The dragon is called the Abyssal Tyrant, or Vorthun, and we are in Vorthun's maw now. And so I put this statue up there to have like a shadow kind of over the region. And this is where we live, is in Grindavik, this place right here. So the only light really in the region is where we live. And we're actually in this person's like lair right now. Hey, see you, Pokey Tavern. Anyway. So the idea is to have like a little bit of a dragon shadow kind of over the region, being a bit of a menace. Something like that. Mrs. Mac has made some art for our party, though, and is working on some character art for me. She's making me a new character, like, token. And then also she made our character, like, our party's, like, mascot, like, art, and also a seal, like a wax seal, and, like, a crest with it. So it's very exciting. I'm excited to share it with y'all. And then this book here is actually based on the art from the campaign. Asmodeus made me a 3D asset for it, and I uploaded it. So it's on the workshop. It's got the asset description, too. So if you want to put this object in your campaigns, totally can, and you get all the description of it, too. The stat block and other information for it. So anyway, we'll be working on this map, finishing it up on Monday. Hope you all tune in so you can check it out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the stream today. How would a player interact with this? So you would set it as a scene in your virtual tabletop, right? So in this case, let's say you use Foundry, right? Or whatever virtual tabletop you use. And it's like a loading screen that you would load before your players essentially go to this scene first, right? If you want to make it interactable, you can tie interactable journal notes to certain points on the map. So say the deed or the map of their place or a book or their images can be a journal entry or linked to particular things. So you could have the images linked to the player sheets. You could have the maps linked to very specific maps of their like Bastion home base, so it would load up for them automatically. You could have individual artifacts linked to journal entries with images and more details about it. I don't know if Above can do this or not, but it's really cool either way. I'm sure you could set it as a scene and just have a backdrop. Like when your players are just coming in for the day, you have this as a backdrop before you load their maps or encounters, right? So it's just like a scene, a primer, a loading screen. You could do it on the website too. Backdrop, diorama. It's really just a thematic set piece for your campaign. This wanted poster, we made a ruckus when we started our campaign. We broke out of prison because we were all wrongfully imprisoned, and then we like destroyed a lot of people, like shady people's lives and businesses, and then fled the area on a boat and then moved over here. So we like to think that maybe there's a wanted poster out for us there, like we're wanted and people might be like bounty hunters might be after us. It was more of a joke because we were only there like 5 days before we fled. Like no joke. We leveled up twice and caused so much mayhem and destroyed an entire like underground like empire while we were there, and then went to another city. And then we traveled on the ocean for 3 months. We did more time on the ocean than we were in this city. So I like to think that maybe there's a reward for us and that like there's a lot of confusion around who the party is. So this is our paladin. He kicks a lot of ass and he's huge. He's a Goliath and he looks kind of stonish. He's a nature paladin and he has like a lot of nature on him and he like talks to animals and stuff. So he looks like a rock man, kind of looks like just like a stone, like a tiny stone giant. Over here, our friend Kevin, he wears a freaking, oh, this is Didymus, by the way. This is Kevin. Kevin always wears a mask. His previous squad was like this like elite squad of people and they all wore like masks. And so he always wears his mask. He's always revealed his identity to us a couple of times when he has no choice, like when he was in prison, and a couple times when he felt at ease. This here, bloodthirsty dragon. Oh, by the way, evil, identity unknown, robot. Like they don't know. Is he a human? Who is it under there? I have the death sentence in 12 systems. Whenever I see that guy, I think it's it probably is him. The grandpa from Three Ninjas. I can't remember his name, but I feel like it's the same dude because they sound the same. Anyway, bloodthirsty dragon. My son is a changeling. And he's like a Sorlock, but he's always in a dragonborn form for the most part. so nobody really knows what he looks like. Evil lady, tiefling, that's Mrs. Mac. They're named Virilith and Azira. And then down here, possible kidnapped children, because we're really short. We were in a giant city, a city for giants, i.e. everything was massive. Everybody there was massive. We stood out like sore thumbs. But I'd imagine to a giant, a halfling, like they may not even know halflings exist or like what they look like. I was kind of thinking like Lord of the Rings, like they may look like a child to your eyes, right? So what possible kidnapped children? There's a fairy in our group who she shape changes into she uses alter self to look like an old lady when she's trying to like throw people off or hide into a crowd. And then I just look like a little kid, so it just says wanted for questioning. Anyway, we had fun with this. I think it's got a lot of lore tied to us, but it's just for fun, you know? Like that's each of the players' like identities a little bit in this map. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday with Mapmaker Monday. Again, my name is Mac, the Dungeon Alchemist Community Manager. Dungeon Alchemist is a map making and immersion utility available on Steam. You can try out our demo on Steam today, which allows you to build a tavern set in a forest. You can export the map as a print or an image or a video file, or for your virtual tabletop of choice. So make sure you check out the demo today. And if you enjoy the demo, make sure you add us to your wish list. If you already own Dungeon Alchemist, you've already enjoyed it, tried it out quite a bit, could you do me a huge favor and go drop us a review if you haven't already on Steam? Reviews, great way for us to kind of gauge community feedback and also let other people know at a glance what Dungeon Alchemist is about. So if you've had a good experience with Dungeon Alchemist, you know, neutral experience, whatever, please let us know in the reviews on Steam. And if you have any need for support or guidance in the downtime between streams, remember, you can always drop into our Discord, spin up a thread in our question or support forum, or hit us up on social media. If you ping social media, it'll likely be myself answering your question, maybe Wim or Carl on occasion. So if you have questions in the interim, feel free to drop into those spaces and let us know. Lastly, we have 24-hour support on our wiki. The Dungeon Alchemist wiki has a lot of information that is very useful to new users. Highly recommend the wiki and our Discord for new users especially. But long-term users can learn a lot from both of those places as well. Quickly, before we wrap up today, I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad. I highly encourage you watch it because it's very funny. Very much like it's happened to all of the DMs in this room, most likely. I'm sure you can all relate to it. So make sure you check it out. And I would love to hear your feedback on that, too, if you've never seen it before. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm sure most of you have seen it, though, unless you're new. So no worries. Thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. Bye.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, I won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday with Mapmaker Monday. Until then, we'll see you next time. I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.